Alright, we're just on the final leg of our trip home after a beautiful 2-week vacation. We'll be doing a rundown video of what we thought about the whole trip, and this is the start of that rundown video. We'll finish it off when we get back to home base. But here we are, we've just boarded BC Ferries.
Attention passengers outside deck. Ship to full sound, loud whistle, cover your ears. Again, loud whistle, cover your ears, loud whistle.
Cover your ears, here comes a loud whistle. Alright, so looking off there to the east, I believe that's going to be Mount Baker. Hopefully it comes through. It's kind of smoky out here today. And here we go, leaving the port. Tsawwassen Terminal. Next stop, Duke Point. And I believe that actually is Point Roberts over there, which is in the United States. Strange little point. For them to get to Washington State, they have to leave the United States, enter Canada, drive over to the border, and then re-enter the States again. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a continuation on. I think we started this on the ferry boat on our way home. We just wanted to do a little wrap-up video of our trip that we took this year down the Oregon coast. So we had some new experiences. Our first night we stayed at a Walmart, which was kind of different. I don't know if I'd want to do that all the time. What did you think of the Walmart?
It was okay because it was a place to stay. It wasn't something that, I wouldn't want to do it all the time, but in desperate ways, well, that's where you stay.
And it is kind of handy coming off the island. We've got that second to last ferry boat, and the Walmart's just maybe 5-10 minutes down the road. So it's handy in that respect. And then, we hit the border. The one thing with going to the States from Canada right now, I noticed pricing is not what it used to be in the States. It's almost the same prices as what you pay here in Canada. I don't know if food pricing was a little bit cheaper, or what did you think of the food pricing?
Certain things was, but on the other hand, like when we've been down there before, things have been really cheap, and they were not as cheap this time. Obviously, everything's going up. But, I noticed a big difference of, what it was like before. So we didn't necessarily save a whole pile of money on different items.
And then some of the other things that we bought, I know, I know the stop at Total Wines was totally kind of shocked me when we walked out of there. I was like almost the same amount we spend up here for the alcohol that we bought. I bought a pair of running shoes down there, and I don't know what the exchange rate. I probably paid actually a little more down there than I would have paid here at home. I did price out. I want to get a new camera for doing YouTube videos and doing some still photography. I was thinking about buying one down there, and it was almost the exact same price in the States as it was up here in Canada to buy it. So with the 35% exchange rate, it just was not feasible to purchase one down there. Then we made our way down to Seaside, Oregon, stayed at the Thousand Trails, which needs work, but it's not a bad campground, RV park. Seaside, the town itself, phenomenal, loved it. Really nice, what do they call it, Malecon or board. It's not really a boardwalk, it's paved. What would you call that? It's
I can't remember what we all called it.
They call it the Malecon down in Mexico. Up here, I don't know, seaside walk, I guess. We just ran right along the edge of the beach. Yeah, some really neat shops there. They got a little carousel, a mall with a carousel in it, and a big arcade with the mini golf and the bumper cars and all that kind of stuff for younger people.
Yeah, I thought the town was very cute. It was very quaint. Pardon me. Very quaint when we walked up to the beach, and that's one thing I liked about Seaside was you were fairly close to everything. We would walk every day and walk down to the beach. I don't know exactly how far it was, but
I think it was just under a mile from our campground to the beach.
and even on the very wettest days, I had to walk because I love the beach so much, and the waves coming in is just so calming. We also went to a little coffee shop down there that was really nice. You could tell it was people that owned the place, did all the baking and stuff, and if you want a big size cinnamon bun, that would be the place to go.
Yeah.
Didn't have one, but our friends had one, and it did look delicious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then from there we went down to, we made a stop at Cannon Beach, which is always a favorite of ours, to stop at Cannon Beach, see Haystack Rock. We didn't get to spend as much time as there as we would have liked to, but unfortunately the RV park there was totally booked up, so we just had to do a brief stop on the way through. And then to the Tillamook Creamery, which is, of course, I love my cheese, and Tillamook cheese is by far the best I've ever had. And so we spent a little more money there than I would have liked to as well, but I got a big block of cheese in the fridge now. And yeah, they've changed the Tillamook Creamery quite a bit too since the last time we were there. They have a nice little museum area, and you can actually see them processing it. I guess on the one side they are making the cheese on the one side, and then on the other side they have the conveyor belts where they're packaging it up and getting it ready to ship, and you can watch all that go through. It was pretty interesting that way. And then made our way down to Winchester Bay, which was another nice. The town itself was kind of,
It was small,
very small.
but it was also a unique little place. Toffee, you want some toffee? That is the place to go, because boy is it good. We bought a great big bag full of it where we could just pick the kinds we want, and then we got another small bag that was already done, but it's so good.
Probably not something a diabetic should be eating, but I am anyways.
Yeah, you just have to do a little bit at a time. I can eat more. Anyways, no, it was nice, and we were parked right in front where we could look straight out onto the water, and across from that was sailboats and different things like that. And then we did take a walk. We love to walk. We took a walk out. I don't know how far it was, but up to the lighthouse, and that was a really nice experience.
And I can't pronounce the name of the lighthouse, but I'll put it down in the comments. Yeah, of course we had to walk because we only had the motorhomes. That's another reason we're thinking of getting it towed, so we got some wheels whenever we go somewhere, because it was tough walking. Of course we had I had my mountain bike. Of course Mrs. Blackfish couldn't drive with her cast, so we didn't take her bike. Our friends took both their bikes, but on our second bike ride out, Wild Bill broke his sprockets on his rear tires, so he couldn't ride his bike either. So it was kind of just pedaling by ourselves wasn't very fun.
So we also went down to, I can't remember the name of that beach we went down to, or you went down before I did with you. It was a very nice beach down there, just sand, rolling waves coming in. You could see the dunes. And up at the lighthouse, when we walked up to the lighthouse, you could look down over and see the dunes and the, what do they call those things they ride?
Well, the ATVs.
Oh yeah, the ATVs through
side
there.
by sides and
Yeah.
quads. And
But that was really cool to look down and see that, and then way at the back, you could just see the water from, it was just endless. It was very nice.
yeah, that was pretty cool. And then we looked at renting some side by sides to go out in the dunes. But that was very expensive too. It was I think it was $200 an hour, and it probably would have took us, 15-20 minutes to get from where you rented them down to the dunes. By then we would only had to roll around for 10 minutes and then had to route back. Or I think it was over $1,000 a day to rent them for the day. Then that was a 24-hour rental, but then you couldn't drive it for 24 hours straight either, so it's kind of a waste of money too. So, but it's too expensive for us this time. If you had your own ATV or side-by-side, yeah, looks like it would be a lot of fun to go out in them dunes. Yeah, that beach was the same name as the lighthouse, which I'll put down there because I can see how it's spelled, but there's no way I could pronounce it.
Me either.
So yeah, we had some nasty weather both in Seaside and, well, Winchester Bay wasn't as bad. Seaside, we had a couple days where it was just miserable rain and wind, and it was just horrible time. And then it was still kind of windy in Winchester Bay, but it was not as rainy. And then, but we got kind of tired of the wind and the rain, so we decided we would head inland, and we found a nice campground just south of Portland. So we spent a few days in that campground. Sun Outdoors, it was called. That was a really good time there too. More urban. We were like right across the street from a Costco and stuff, and we could walk to Camping World there as well. Really nice campground. Swimming pool, library, pool table. That wasn't very flat, but we still had a couple games on that.
It was very well cared for, the campsite. It was probably one of the better ones when it come to Winchester Bay was pretty good too, but it was the campsite itself they were always keeping it up clean and tidy, and they had nice little I can't remember what you call it, but anyways, where they had little fire pits, and you could go and sit at night and have your glass of wine and sit by the fire. And
yeah, they had like little couches, outdoor couches,
yeah.
and seats, and then a fire pit, propane fire pit in the middle.
Yeah,
and then they were all covered. Yeah,
Arbor.
like just like a little covered deck.
Yeah,
Little tents.
it was nice.
And they were, well manicured, flowers everywhere, just gorgeous flowers. They kept the grass mowed nice, and all your pads were blowing off. They come along and blew it off every day. Kept it well maintained. Winchester Bay was very nice too for an RV park. It was very well maintained and looked after. They had about 4 or 5 host couples that worked there. I guess year round, I don't know, they were for so many months. But they, very well maintained. They could have used a few more amenities. I mean, they had a laundromat and some stuff like that, but they could have used some pickleball courts or tennis courts or swimming pool or something like that.
But they were super clean. Like the laundromat area was spotless. I have never been in one that was as clean as that. It was absolutely spotless. It was beautiful. You felt comfortable in doing your laundry there. So
yeah. Oh, and we forgot to mention our first campground, our first actual campground in the United States was Arctic Campground.
yeah.
It was, it was just an overnight stop, but they had a couple spots where we could get our motorhomes into.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge park by any means. I think maybe 20 spots or something, and it was relatively cheap.
And the spots were, relatively, didn't have it. It was just us and our friends. So there was lots of room in between them, but they had the trees and things like that. To me, it felt like you were really camping, like in the woods, sort of thing.
And they didn't have sewer hookup. Ours didn't have sewer hookup. Some of them had sewer hookups. Ours, we just had power and water, which was fine. That's all we needed for an overnighter anyways. And then, then we made it back up to the Harvest Host for our final night, which was great. And then made her home, safe and sound. And the motorhome ran like a dream, except my only other complaint about the whole trip, if I could find a complaint, is the I-5 through Seattle.
Oh, wow.
If you can avoid that. If you can avoid it, the road coming home, we tried to bypass it, and it was just about as bad. the whole motorhome shook so bad. I had screws and bolts falling out of the motorhome and falling down onto the windshield, and I'm like, where are these bolts coming from? It shook so bad because of the road is in such bad shape. And the traffic is horrible.
The I-5 low going down was absolutely horrible. Oh, it was just, ugh.
But if that's our only complaint, I guess...
Yeah. Everything else made up for it. All of the beach, everything else that we did made up for it. So
yeah, and good times with good friends.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's kind of our wrap up of our 2-week trip, and hopefully we get some more in. Hopefully not into too far future. We'll be going full time in the motorhome and heading south for the winters because I'm already getting tired of the cold weather here back on the island. But that's all down the road for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. Been getting a lot of good feedback so far from it, so hopefully it continues and I can continue growing the channel. So until then, everybody, let's roll, and hey, let's be careful out there. This is Blackfish out.